Here are the 6 rules that every wholesaler must follow to be successful. And if you fail to implement just one of these things, your business is gonna fail, man. Yo, what's going on, everyone? Mike Hill, the wholesaling titan here, and I recommend that you write these 6 things down and kind of do a little bit of an audit, right? Rate your level of competency in these areas, or if you're new, be sure to focus on these things first. So when I'm looking to diagnose problems, most people assume it's in their data or their software or their budget, and that's usually not the case. I'd say about 90+% of the time, it's related to at least one of these 6 things. Because look, wholesaling is not an overly complicated business. I mean, you go to YouTube right now and get a general understanding of the process in like an hour. And yet so many people are still unsuccessful. And here's the reason why. The technical knowledge that you're learning is absolutely necessary. But that knowledge alone is not enough. A good analogy I like to use is weight loss. Anybody can figure out how to lose weight. You can go online, download a workout plan, download the diet plan and grocery list, and join a gym. Like basically burn more calories than you consume, right? Not that complicated. And look how many people are unsuccessful with this shit every year. And that's because in addition to the knowledge, it's crucial that you focus on proper implementation. So this is things like discipline and habits and daily routines and daily goals, accountability, knowing and tracking your metrics, and you have to have systematic processes in place. That's why you can have 2 new wholesalers, same amount of time available, same budget, using the same software. Let's say PropStream, for example. And one wholesaler will say, man, this software is shit. The leads suck. It has outdated data, and they go 6 months without doing a deal. Second person knocks out, 8 to 10 deals during the same time. The difference is going to come down to these 6 things. And one last point is that I'm not saying things like CRMs and data sources aren't important. I'm saying that you have to get your foundation set first and then use those other resources to optimize. So back to our gym example real quick, right? You need to have a workout and diet plan to start building that habit of going to the gym first. Then as you work out, you start correcting your form, you start learning more advanced exercises, and then you discover like your supplements, right? But if you discover protein and creatine first and you just start taking them without establishing the good habits, well, the supplements alone are not going to get you the results. So let's go ahead and jump into the easiest of the 6. Number 1 is going to be choosing the right target market and understanding it. Now, when I first started wholesaling, I remember the time I was looking for leads online. I got this property under contract. I think it was from HUD Home Store. And I got it for like half its value. So I'm like super excited, man. I take this to my mentor for him to sell it. Long story short, we didn't sell the deal. So I'm disappointed, but I get it now, right? So over the years, I've had students like that. And one dude in particular gets these deals under contract. They're below market value, but they're like in the middle of these rural bumblefuck nowhere. And so like this one student, he's always trying to convince me why it makes sense, right? And technically, yes, you can make an argument that the right price is a buyer for everything. But especially when you're wholesaling, you're often under these really tight deadlines. And while you can get lucky sometimes, you don't want to build your business on hoping for the best. So in this example, there was very little demand in the area. And I would tell him, I'm like, bro, it's like trying to sell a steak, but you're trying to sell it to a damn vegan. So it doesn't matter how well it's prepared and if it's made by a famous chef, if it's the highest quality meat, if it's half the normal price, they don't want that shit. So the features don't matter. You don't go to Walmart and try to sell a Rolex, even if it's half price, because most customers are not there looking for that. Most probably can't afford that. So here's what you need to do. You need to study your market. You have to ensure that there's enough demand. Find out what your cash buyers, your target clientele, what are they looking for, which also means understanding their goals. And then you're just playing matchmaker, man. You want to do this by looking at actual sales data from cash buyers. You got to look at the raw number of sales in an area. Look at the prices those houses have sold for. And again, understand the end goal of your buyers. So if a buyer is buying a house in a low income area in like Riviera Beach, for example, I know that most investors there are looking to do minimal rehab work, maybe paint and do some cosmetic work, and they want to stick a Section 8 tenant in there for cash flow. Now, I'm going to be analyzing that deal very differently if it's a $700,000 house in a nicer neighborhood like, Coral Springs. It's just much easier to sell people what they're already buying. Your time, your resources, they're limited, especially if you're new. So what you want to do is laser focus on what's easiest and most likely to sell fast. Now, because this exercise is so simple, it gets overlooked, but you need to do this. You can do this exercise in an hour, and it will save you months of spinning your wheels and potentially costing you thousands of dollars. Now, I have a whole video showing you this process, even how to do it if you have no money. I'll throw a link to that in, like, I don't know, card somewhere or down in the description below. So on to number two. Number two is going to be volume. Wholesaling is very much a numbers game. So if you don't have volume, the business won't work for you. Now, I want you to write this down. Your senior activity every single day needs to be prospecting for leads. I talk to people who are struggling this game damn near every day, and this is by far the most common cause of failure. And I can almost always track a lack of results to a lack of volume when it comes to prospecting. Like, you can't talk to one chick and expect that to be your wife. I mean, maybe that's not a great analogy, but man, you get the idea, right? You got to up the volume here. This part of the wholesaling formula, really, really simple. More offers equal more deals, period. And yes, some smart ass in the comments is going to come say, well, you have to make good offers. And that's true, okay? You do have to know how to make intelligent offers. But here's the thing. Let's say you do make a bunch of dumbass offers. The feedback that you're going to get from those dumb offers will automatically start making you better. Now, when I talk to people, one of the most common things I hear is, man, I'm making a lot of offers and it's not working. And my question is always, well, what's a lot? To some people, they make 10 offers or 10 calls in a month and they think it's a lot. It's not, okay? Some people make 100 offers in a week. I mean, it's all relative. So the question becomes, and this is taking us into number 3, do you know your metrics or your KPIs, your key performance indicators? And this is kind of like a two-parter. So first, you need to be tracking everything that you do. How many calls did you make? How many offers did you make? How many letters did you send, etc.? You can only improve it if you track it. Next, you got to know how many of these activities does it take to get a deal. So how many calls does it take to get a deal if I'm calling, X list? If I'm making offers on MLS properties, how many offers equal a deal? And this is going to vary slightly based on your market and the type of list you're using, but there's a pretty predictable formula for each of these. So if for example, it's going to take 300 offers from X source to do a deal, you just reverse engineer it. So I want to do it takes 300 offers to do a deal. I want to do a deal in 30 days. You just do the math. Okay, so I got to do 10 offers a day for the next 30 days. And boom, it becomes very predictable. Now, obviously, that is the overly simplified version. There are like ramp up and warm up periods. And there's some other factors that I'll talk to you about in just a second that do impact this equation. But if you do have questions on the list, or you want to know those specific metrics, how many offers, emails, text calls, whatever, equal a deal, or it could be about strategy or any wholesaling questions, I'm going to invite you to join me on a free one-on-one strategy session. So I'll take a look at your business, I'll show you what you're doing wrong, and I'll show you solutions on how to move forward. Being in the business for over a decade with results to show from both myself and my students, dare I say, I probably know some stuff that you don't. I've literally had people struggling with issues for months that we have solved in 30 minutes. So if you want to get that first done deal next couple of weeks, or first deal done next couple of weeks, quit that 9 to 5, or just be more consistent in your business, go to wholesalemike.com/call, book a call. It's a free call, but I only do a few slots every week, so you gotta hurry. First come, first serve. All right, so now let's move on to number 4. Rule number 4 is going to be consistency. So many people, they're off and on. They work really hard for a few days and then they stop. And I would argue that consistent, mediocre work is better than sporadic hard work. Again, like the gym, how hard you work out one time does not matter. In fact, you're going to see better results working out for 1 hour, 5 days a week than you would working out really hard for 5 hours once a week. Consistency instills like a sense of discipline. It sharpens your attention. You create good habits, which are crucial. Your habits basically automate your success. So, because there's less thinking involved. It brings you more valuable feedback over time. It makes your daily actions more manageable so you don't get overwhelmed. It increases awareness and efficiency. It makes it easier to pinpoint and diagnose the activities that are working and the activities that are not. It puts less pressure on you to perform. So a lot of that paralysis analysis, that anxiety dies. It's like, if you have sex with your girl every day for months, it's like no pressure to have your best performance every time. It's easier to get into the flow, right? But let's say you got a huge crush on some absolutely stunning girl and you got like one night with her. that's where you might get some like performance anxiety, right? And so, shit, man, I need to maybe work on these analogies, but someone watching this knows what I'm talking about, okay? Basically, what I'm saying is like there are a lot of benefits that I can point out, but also like a lot of this shit is subconscious, right? So man, when it comes to being consistent, just do it. All right. And what helps with this is making sure you have a daily routine that you stick to. So I have a morning routine that I do every morning to help me set up my day for maximum energy and productivity. And then I have my daily wholesaling routine. And you want to make sure you put everything into your schedule on a calendar. You do not want to have any white space. So I work with my students on creating what's called a reverse schedule and then building your routine around that. Now, that's a video for another day, but it's based on tons of scientific studies and evidence that I can point to that I base this practice on. So some good reads for this, just FYI, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg and The Power of Full Engagement. And I forget the authors, Jim something maybe. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, again, take my word for it or hit me up. Remember, schedule that call or DM me on Instagram. Okay, number 5, I think we're on speed. You cannot steal good deals in slow motion. Okay, so I had this student, man. He's working on a good lead. Like a week goes by, I haven't heard from him. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Oh, I emailed them and I'm waiting to hear back. I'm like, waiting? Yeah, no, bro. That shit is dumb. How do you know they even got your email? You didn't call, you didn't text, you didn't email to even confirm. So ultimately, that seller ended up going with someone else. And I'm not saying like harass people, but that's just one example. Like sellers who are hyper motivated, meaning they have a problem they need solved. They're not gonna wait days to hear back from you. They're just gonna go to somebody else. Now, statistically, the first person to respond to a seller has a 248% better chance of being the one to close that deal. And only 37% of all businesses respond within the first hour. So it's a massive opportunity here for you, and it doesn't cost you anything. You need to have systems in place to ensure that you're handling any inquiries, objections, responses, everything as fast as possible. And yes, outsourcing is a solution. Not all you have that option, but do what you can to be as fast as possible. Try and hit people back quickly. Like back when I was working my 9 to 5, man, I'd get a voicemail from an interested prospect. Funniest thing would happen. I'd have this urge to take an emergency bathroom break. I'd just step out and call them back. I would make and return calls during my lunch break from my car. Shit, I even answered calls under my desk in my cubicle. My point is find a way, okay? And then the 6th rule here is the importance of follow-up. Now, most people think you make an offer and the seller either accepts it or rejects it. And that's not how this shit works most of the time. In reality, the vast majority of your leads need to be nurtured and re-engaged several times before you can do the deal. So you might get lucky from time to time, and that will happen, but it's going to take upwards of about 5 touch points to get about 80% of your deals closed. And while I know that sounds annoying, this is actually really beneficial because you can use that knowledge to your advantage, knowing that about 50% of wholesalers never follow up even once, much less 5 times. Now, on that note, you need a follow-up process that has to be scheduled in advance. It's got to be predetermined times where you follow up. And you even want to have this automated or semi-automated when possible so nothing slips through the cracks. So you can have the best list, best software, all the bells and whistles in the world, but if you don't focus on these 6 things, like I said, man, your business is going to fail. So that's an overview of my 6 rules. If you want details on how to implement this in your business, remember, schedule your free call with me, wholesalermike.com. If you have additional questions on this or anything wholesaling related, you can also leave comments in the comment section below. Questions down there helps me to think of new video ideas. And remember, you can also DM me on Instagram at MikeHillTWT. Guys, please show the video some love. Smash that like button for me. It really helps a lot, and it means a great deal to me. Helps the channel. And be sure to subscribe with those notifications on. I really love and appreciate you guys being here. I know you got a lot of choices, but I'm really passionate about this, man. I am rooting for you guys, for your success, especially if you're in that paycheck-to-paycheck lifestyle. Been there. It's a better way to do it, okay? I'm very grateful for you guys. I thank you so much for watching and encourage you. Listen, don't be shy, man. I'm pretty easy to talk to. So reach out. Hit me with your questions. I'll be happy to get back to you. From the bottom of my heart, thanks again. Again, really rooting for you, pushing for you guys. Hope to hear your success stories. And yeah, I will see you on the next video. Everyone stay safe, and I'll catch you then. Peace.